so strongly was destiny through the depths of your essence, but it's in your head. And it's like people outside of your head try and tell you how you gotta be, and deter you from showing up authentically. Get yourself starting to believe the shit, like blah blah blah.
Hey y'all, welcome to Aniyah's Notes. I am your host, AniyahJelisa. Thank you for being here today. Welcome in if you're new, welcome back if you are subscribed. All right, y'all, today we're going to be looking into what makes you enchanting. What makes you enchanting? How do you just draw the people in and put them under your spell, okay? I don't have any announcements. If you would like to book a personal, then you can find that information down below. If you would like to tip your girl, I'd be forgetting to say that, but I do have, I made the Cashapp in the Venmo because when I was heavily posting on TikTok, people were asking me to like put something up so they could tip me, and people were sending me tips, and I thought that was so sweet, and I really appreciate it. So that information is down below as well. So is the information about the song and the intro. Other than that, that's all I have. So let's go ahead and get into it. Choose your photo. Hey Part 1, welcome to your reading. Welcome to Aniyah's Notes. I am your host, AniyahJelisa. Thank you for being here on today. Today we're going to be looking into what makes you enchanting. So before I get into it, all the information is down below in the description box, whether you would like to book a personal reading for yourself, whether you would like to leave a tip, whether you would like to find out what the intro song is, where you would like to find me on social media, all that down below in the description box. So let's get into it. Today I will be channeling messages from the photos. So let's go ahead and see what makes you enchanting. I'm getting your confidence, Part 1. People are attracted to your confidence, and I feel like you have a quiet confidence. It's not giving like, oh, you're just like the boisterous type, like walk in like, oh, I'm the baddest bitch. Like, it's not giving that. It's more so you walk in. I'm saying that this has a lot to do with like your eye contact and your posture, okay? It's literally like within your body language. I don't know if you guys are models or if you have ever just learned anything about body language or the way that you walk, if you've taken like some type of TED talk or workshop or course or something about how to appear more confidently, but the way it's to your body language. And if you have taken these workshops or these courses or studied this at all, then you know that confidence is typically exuded by, you know, neck up, facing forward, shoulders back, relaxed. Also like the way that you move your arms and the way that you move your hips when you walking. It's like the vibe, I don't know how to describe it all the way, but I actually saw somebody when I pulled up to my job the other day, and the way she was walking, I'm like, she's definitely either a model or she studied how to walk, because her walk was giving confident runway model. And it's like you have that type of energy about you. So even if you haven't necessarily studied this, the way that you carry yourself is with this quiet confidence, and that is how you enchant people. Before they even speak to you, or before you even speak to them, or before anything is said, I feel like your body language excuse me, communicates confidence. I also get the vibe that you could also naturally ooze sex appeal, in the sense that, again, your body language, your eye contact. So when you make eye contact with somebody, maybe there's something here about the angle that you look at them, or the just the message that you are conveying. You almost like smize, or you know, your eyes are activated. That's what I want to say. Your eyes are activated. If you guys have ever, like, if you're somebody who does naturally look people in their eyes when you talk to them, you will notice that some people, their eyes are very jittery and like they move around a lot. Some people have a hard time making eye contact. So if you make eye contact with them, they'll quickly look away. Whereas other people will make eye contact with you, but when you look in their eyes, you notice that they feel empty, or they might feel sad. Like, you know, some people have been through a lot, and you can look in their eyes and you can see the sadness literally behind their eyes. Whereas with you, when people look into your eyes, they see somebody who likes themselves, somebody who's confident in themselves, and somebody who could take them up through there, okay, if you will. All right, let's see, anything else? Spirits. I also get the vibe that it could just naturally be a part of your aura. You guys could have water in your chart. You don't have to have water in your chart in order to be sensual or magnetic in that way, but you could, right? You could just have this allure. It's like this, it's making me think like something about your aura just flows, and when people get close to it, it's making me think about literally like a tide, or like a whirlpool, where the closer that you get, you just get pulled into it like a current, right? So, excuse me, what makes you enchanting? I was wanting to say alluring, but what makes you enchanting is your aura. And I'm also getting that it's your softness. So you could be somebody who is feminine presenting. You don't have to be, but even if you're not necessarily feminine presenting, you have this softness to you where maybe you speak with a soft tone, maybe you have a soft voice, or maybe you just don't tend to yell, or you just have a very, like I said, the way that you actually speak, the tone of your voice is soft. Maybe you are naturally nurturing or naturally empathetic, so people feel safe to tell you their business. You might find the strangers tell you their business a lot, or like, even if they're not necessarily a stranger, it could be somebody who you don't think that you guys are close enough for them to be telling you certain things, but they just feel comfortable. They kind of feel this within your aura that like you're not going to judge them and that you're not going to go and spread their business. Okay, so you might experience enchanting people in that way, where they come into your aura and they just start yapping, honey. They just start yapping, okay? I'm also getting the vibe though that this can sometimes lead to people sometimes people can underestimate you, because you do have this confidence to yourself, but again, you're so soft that it's like sometimes people forget about the confident part if they get sucked into the softness, or they just, I don't even think that people are actively like thinking that you're to be played with. I think it's more so a thing of people forgetting that they're not allowed to do that. That's what it's giving me. This is giving me the vibe of like, have you ever, you know, like when you're a kid and like you go to a fountain and you might want to just naturally like go play in it, like you want to go put your hands in it, you might, you know, if there's coins at the bottom, you want to go take the coins out at the bottom and play with them or put it in your pocket or whatever, and it's not until your parents tell you like, hey, you can't do that, and you get taught that, oh, I can't do that, that's when you realize, okay, like I can admire the fountain, but like I'm not supposed to actually play in the fountain, or I'm not supposed to take the coins out of the fountain. It's like that type of energy where people are drawn to you, and especially I'm getting in conversation, people can feel your softness. That's when they also start to see your mind as well as you speak, and the softness of who you are as a person, and they might get so enchanted, okay? They might get so enchanted that they just naturally want to start touching and doing things. And so you might actually experience people like, you know, touching you or doing things that they have no business doing, and things that are inappropriate, okay? And you might constantly have to be like, no, pop their hand like a fucking 3-year-old, like, no, you know? And then it's like, oh shit, my bad, you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. Like, people might do this to you. Like, people might be like, oh, my bad, like, or it might invoke lust, or people, you know, if they're not necessarily touching you inappropriately, they might be saying something that's inappropriate. And it's like, no, don't say that to me. Like, I don't like you like that, or I don't know you like that, or we don't have that type of connection, you know, whatever the case may be. Okay, so that's what makes you enchanting from the photos. So let's go ahead and get some tarot and see further into how you are enchanting, pile one. If you're enjoying the video thus far, then definitely go ahead and give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel so that you can join the team and catch this vibe, okay? Hold on 1 second, because some of these cards are already flipped over. I don't like that. I don't like that. I met this guy the other day, and he was talking, like I overheard him talking to somebody else, and he said in it, and I was like, are you British? I was like, are you British? He was like, I'm not British, but I lived in London for some years, so. It's like, oh, interesting. Interesting. I feel like I'm from the South, you guys, and I feel like in America, in the South, we don't really get too many like British foreigners. I don't know. I would say there's more people here like from other parts of Europe, but not necessarily London or Britain. I don't know. So that was interesting. I don't know why I randomly thought about that. Anyways, let's go ahead and see. Is there what makes pile one enchanting? What makes pile one enchanting? The first card that we have is the Two of Swords. See. Next we have the Knight of Wands. Then we have the Page of Swords. And we've also got, I'm gonna take uprights today. We have the Nine of Pentacles. Hold on, Nine of Pentacles. And Temperance. Okay. What's on the bottom of the deck? The bottom of the deck is the Fool. What makes you enchanting to people, and this is more so I'm getting as, so that one, the channeling from the image gives me more so like people's first impression. We should do that for our next video. What is people's first impression of you? So we can get further into that. But I feel like initially what makes you enchanting is your aura, your body language, your eye contact, right? Now, as people get to know you now, this is where we're getting into what enchants them as they get to know you. With the Two of Swords, the Knight of Wands, and the Page of Swords, also the Fool, I get this vibe that people are enchanted by your quick-wittedness. People could also be enchanted by your social media. You could be somebody who, you seem to have two sides to you. You seem to have this like maybe fun, more carefree side, but then there's also like this wise, mature side to you as well. I'm getting that people, I'm going to break off into different things. So just stick with me, okay? One thing I'm getting is that people are enchanted by your social media. So if you are, let's say you're mingling at a party, an event, whatever, and you know, you're having a conversation with somebody, they already see you in person, they already are enchanted to you through your body language or aura, but they get your Instagram or they get your Facebook or whatever you use, TikTok, whatever. And once they look at your page, then the enchantment goes even further because you are naturally sexy, Pawan. You just are. With the Knight of Wands here, you're somebody who is naturally, you have sex appeal. You do. You are probably very physically attractive. And on top of your physical attractiveness, you're also confident, which adds to sex appeal. And again, you have this enchanting aura. You know how to work your body language. You know how to make eye contact. You know how to hold conversation. So it's like, what enchants people is that you come across as the full package. You come across as somebody who they could have fun with, that could, you know, could take them up through there, show them a good time, but also somebody who maybe could give them some good advice or would offer them a listening ear and be very empathetic and nurturing towards them at the same time. Okay, people are definitely like physically attracted to you. That's for sure. Like, I feel like a lot of people are physically attracted to you. Now, the thing here, another layer to this enchantment is that with the Two of Swords, I'm getting that you enchant people by making them, there's like this push and pull, and not in the sense that you're playing cat and mouse per se. It's more so this energy of, like I said with the fountain, it's like, okay, I'm feeling drawn to play in this thing, but then I'm not supposed to. So that's how this is. It's like you have this energy about you where, again, you exude the sex appeal, the fun, the play. People get excited by you. They kind of get drawn into either their lust or maybe their inner child playfulness with you. They feel very vulnerable with you and safe to do so, but then at the same time, they get reminded in one way or another, whether it's you like literally reminding them or whether it's something that they see or that they just notice about you, they get reminded that they're not supposed to be doing that, or that they need to slow down, they need to calm down. So there's this energy of like people feeling like you're a temptation, people feeling like they need to enjoy you in moderation. This could also be something where when people first meet you, they might start out, you know, again, they're initially attracted to you, but they just thinking, you know, they're just vibing at first. And then you might notice that the more that you open up to people and the more that you allow them into your space or to have conversations with you, they tend to fall. Like, they tend to almost like, once somebody realizes they like you, it's like they almost become clingy, or maybe they want to talk on the phone every day. They want to see you all the time. They want to just be in your skin. And for some of you, you might find this, you might like it. You might like that you have that effect on people. For others of you, you might feel like, damn, bitch, like you're clingy as fuck. Like, you went from being cool to now you're clingy. And that's why, because it's like, you're one of those people where the more you peel back the layers, it only gets better and better. And I feel like you're also somebody who's very real. I don't know why I'm getting that. I don't know. Do y'all know that lady that was on, she's from New York, dark skin, and she would be going off on the train and stuff. She's passed now, but she's responsible for so many memes. Like, in one of them, I think she was like, I'm not crazy. I'm not fucking crazy. I'm real. I'm fucking real. Like, that's you. And so I'm saying that to say that even though people, you know, as people get to know you, they start to peel back the layers of your onions and things. Even if they discover something like a flaw or a negative trait, you own it. I feel like you're somebody who's very good at taking accountability, and you're very good at being aware of yourself. So even if somebody discovers something about you that they don't necessarily like, they feel like it's still, your good outweighs your bad. You're still worth dealing with. They're still enchanted by you. They're still attracted to you, whether it's just as a friend or as something more. They still feel like, oh, I can accept that about that person. Not only because you own it, and because I feel like you are, like I said, you're good at taking accountability here with temperance. You know your flaws. You know that, you know, maybe you get mad quick, or maybe you like to ghost people, or maybe, you know, you can come across nonchalant, or maybe you can come across really emotional. Like, whatever it is about yourself that people might find to be a flaw or find to be annoying, or a red flag, essentially, you know that about yourself and you own it. And you're like, look, I never said I was perfect. You got enchanted with me. I didn't purposely enchant you. I didn't try to illusion you. That's just what it is. That's just how you act. You did that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know, it's like that kind of vibe. So I feel like people feel this, like, maybe not a push and pull per se, but it's more so an indecisiveness. They don't really know. I feel like sometimes people don't really know where to place you in their life. They don't know if they want to be your friend. They don't know if they want to be your lover. They don't know if they need to stay the fuck away from you, or if they should just fall completely into you. Like, people feel like there's just like this back and forth energy. And I also get the vibe that people feel like they have a hard time maintaining balance with you, especially romantic partners. Because here with the Temperance, I feel like you come across as somebody who's very balanced, and like I said, you understand your good and your bad. You know your weaknesses and your strengths. You're very confident in who you are, and I also feel like you're wise. I feel like something else that enchants people about you is you could be very spiritual. Obviously, if you're watching a tarot reading, you could be spiritual. You could have like a different set of beliefs, or maybe you're into philosophy or psychology, or you could just be well studied. Even if it's not those specific things, you could have a niche or an interest that you are very well studied in. And so as much as you have all this physical attractiveness and this empathy and, you know, the realness and all that, you do come across, I'm hearing the word scholarly. So you guys could have you guys could have a degree, like have higher education, or you could be currently getting said higher education. You don't have to, but I just get the vibe that you come across very scholarly. I'm specifically getting like in the way that you speak as well. You come across as somebody who is learned. Like, you come across as somebody who is well learned. And so it's like people see you as just very composed and having all this balance to yourself, but they feel like you make them lose control, or you throw them out of balance, and they find it enchanting. Like, people genuinely find it enchanting. I wouldn't be surprised by when people have accused you of like doing love spells on them, because it genuinely, I feel like you're like an encapsulating experience. Like, I feel like you're one of those people, like when people get close to you and they're around you, they just feel like all their worries go away, nothing else matters. But then it's like when you're not there, or let's say that they piss you off and you don't want to talk to them or whatever, and they snap back into reality, the reality that they go back to feels more shattering. It feels more draining. It's kind of like that person who like hates their job and they go on vacation and they just love the vacation so much that they come back to work and they're like they go through like a mini depression, because they have to like come back to the fact that like this is their reality and not the vacation. It's like you have this vacation energy. And so that's what I mean in the sense. That's also a great example of what I meant in the beginning, where it's like people want to fall into you. When people go on vacation, especially people who hate their jobs, they just be like, oh, I wish I could just live here. I wish I could stay here forever. I love this place, you know, and they end up, and this is just from what I've observed, people who tend to not like their home reality are more likely, from what I've seen, to be the type of people who go on vacation and just do the most, like run amok. They have to be drunk every day. They might, you know, sleep with people that they don't know, just to have the experience and just to get in as much fun as they can, because they feel like this is finally their escape. And so people might feel like they might project their escapism onto you and make you the person that they go to when they want to escape. And so you might also find that people project their fantasies onto you. With Nine of Pentacles, you come across as somebody who's very stable and secure, and like you're just grounded in your energy. But there also is, with the Fool as well, this energy to you where you're willing to take risks, or you're willing to be spontaneous, or you're willing to try new things. And so that's where it's like this vacation energy where people might project their fantasies onto you. People might project the idea of like running away with you. I wouldn't be surprised if, especially if you are a feminine watching this, whether it's not really about your gender itself, but just if you're somebody who's feminine presenting, I would not be surprised. It really doesn't matter, actually, now that I say that. Gender and all that doesn't matter. But I wouldn't be surprised if you're the kind of person where sometimes people date you and people are cheating on their partner with you, and you don't know about this. They didn't tell you that they had a partner. If you asked them they were single, they said yes. But the whole time they're using you. They're not even trying to treat you as a side piece. Like, even if that's technically the role that you're playing in this, it's this vibe of like people genuinely see you as like an escape from like maybe their boring relationship or their toxic relationship. And so their mind is like they are cheating, but they feel like you are like their karma, or like you are something that is being given to them in goodness to escape from something else negatively. You could also find that people who have been through a lot of trauma are attracted to you as well, and you may find that you had to place boundaries on that throughout your life, where people who are going through negative situations or toxic situations, whether it be with the relationship, whether it be with their family, whether it be that they're financially struggling or something like that, that they could, you know, you might give them that listening ear one time, or you have a conversation with them one time, or offer them some help one time, and now they keep coming back. It's like this vibe of like the person who feeds the neighborhood animals, and like they just keep coming back. And, you know, it's like that energy, okay? You have probably had to learn that you can't feed the stray animals, okay? And this is not about animals. That was not about animals. You probably have had to learn that in your life because, again, the fact that I keep referencing you to like water, even if you don't have water in your chart, you have that energy to people. You have this energy of like a fountain that provides life. You're giving hydration. You might be giving that to then feed the other plants and animals and the bugs and whatever that creates this lush environment. And so you are surrounded by lushness with the Nine of Pentacles. You are somebody who pours into yourself. You have a lot of love to give. You have a lot of energy to give, and you pour it into yourself. And because of that, you radiate, and you know, it attracts. It's also making me think about like Leo energy or like fire energy, where, you know, the fire is that passion, that warmth, and the same thing, you know, animals and bugs and people are drawn to that warmth, especially if they feel cold. But then you might, and some of you might resonate more with that water, whereas like people are constantly seeking you out for your emotional capacities and your empathy and your nurturing, where some of you are very like bright, energetic people, and you're very positive, you're very optimistic, and people might also seek you out for your warmth. You might notice that the people who are, again, seeking you out the most are people who are cold, people who are miserable. And you might realize, or you might have been through this before, where you realize like, wait, I'm always being your cheerleader. I'm always praising you. I'm always hyping you up. I'm always helping you to see the silver lining of things. I'm always helping you to be more optimistic. But all you have for me in return is being very realistic, being very pessimistic, or being very nonchalant with me when I'm giving you all this expressiveness, you know? And you might have realized that you can't turn your fire on everybody. Some people you need to be cold with, and you need to let it stay cold because they don't have, you know what I'm saying? They don't have anything to give, right? So that's what I have for you, Pile 1. I feel like overall you're enchanting through your energy. You're enchanting through this like engulfing energy that you have. It's almost like people feel like people, and I feel like this can result in like people loving you or hating you, because sometimes people can feel like they need you. Like people, when they, especially the more they get close to you, the more they experience you, people can begin to feel like they need you. It's like literally like if you've been feeding a stray cat for, I don't know, 6 months, and now the cat has lost its desire to go out and hunt for food because it knows that if it comes to your back porch, you're going to put some milk and some food out there. And then you move or something. Let's say you move and now you don't live there anymore. The cat, if the cat doesn't have the ability to snap back into its instincts and go hunting again, the cat could literally just become depressed and just sit there and starve. Because it's like, well, I keep waiting for this food and it's not coming. And, you know, people could, that's how, and I'm using the cat as an analogy to people, and people could become so used to your energy that, let's say they piss you off, or you guys just grow distant, or they don't appreciate you or whatever, so you have to put yourself first and create boundaries. They start to become resentful, you know, and you might realize that when you set boundaries, people have really negative or abrasive reactions to that. And it's because they emotionally, they might not admit it to you because they might not want to give you that power, that praise, but they feel like they need you. And you might find that people also push you away because of that, because they feel like they can see them. So these are people who might be a little bit more self-aware, and they can tell when they get close to you that they are going to fall for you. Like I said, some people fall for you, they feel like they need you, and some people don't want to fall into that, and so they just leave you alone. People literally see you as like a temptation. Okay, so that's what I have for you, Pile 1. If you made it to the end of Pile 1, then comment temptation, because you engulf people through this like tempting energy that you have. It's like, I feel like people have to be very strong-willed around you, or they have to be the same kind of person as you in order to not just be tempted to just fall into you. Okay, so that's what I have for you, Pile 1. Definitely leave a comment down below saying the word tempting if you made it to the end. Leave a thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing to the channel so that you can join the team and catch this vibe. If you would like for me to read into your personal situations, you can find the information down below in the description box. Other than that, I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey, Pile 2, welcome to your reading. Welcome to Aniyah's Notes. I am your host, AniyahJelisa. Welcome in. So y'all, today we're going to be looking into what makes you enchanting, okay? If you would like to book a reading with me, have me look into your personal situation, if you would like to leave a tip, which is always greatly appreciated, if you would like to find the intro song or find my social media, then you can find all the information down below in the description box. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get straight into it. Today I will be channeling messages from the image that you chose first. All right, So immediately upon like offer looking at this, people are drawn to your, I had literally just had it in my head and I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, people are drawn to your sense of aloneness. I don't know why that's the fucking word that I said, but people are drawn to your solitude. People are drawn to you or enchanted by your ability to be by yourself. You could be somebody who, you might be in a room full of people and everybody's like mingling and you're sitting there by yourself. And the thing about it is, it's not even that you're sitting there by yourself looking embarrassed or looking shy, like to speak. You could be sitting there by yourself and still just like people watching and just observing everybody, but just not necessarily participating. You know what I mean? Or you could be in your own world doing something. Like you could be the kind of person who, most people go to the bar to socialize. Maybe you like to read tipsy, and so you go to the bar to get you a martini and sit there and read your book, and it's not performative for you. Like you genuinely are vibing, you know, with your book, and you know, or maybe you like to draw, so you go out and you go to the bar and you have like your notepad or your sketchbook or whatever. Excuse me. You have your like your iPad or your sketchbook or something drawing while everybody else is like mingling and interacting. And just that ability to not need the social validation, people find to be enchanting, and it makes them want to come up to you and speak to you because they feel like this person is probably interesting. Like the fact that they're doing whatever they're doing, or the fact that they don't care, that they may look odd standing there like not interacting, people feel like, yeah, it makes you interesting. They wonder what you're doing a lot as well. People, you might be somebody who also doesn't post that much. So maybe people are used to, you know, some people post their every move on their story, or they post constantly every time they go outside. So it's like, all you have to do is like check their Instagram or their Facebook or something, or their TikTok to see what they've been up to, or Snapchat, whatever. It's like, you are not like that. Like you're the person who doesn't post everything. So whenever you do post something, especially if you're posting in real time or you're posting about something that you did or where you went, people are very intrigued by that, and people are very enchanted by that, and they like, you come across mysterious about to. You come across mysterious, but I don't get the vibe that it's like on purpose. I think it's just that you genuinely like are in your own world most of the time. And so you genuinely are just engulfed within yourself. And because of that, it makes you look mysterious to other people. Okay? That's what I'm getting. I'm also getting that you are somebody who could be very studious. You could be very intelligent. You could have higher education, so you could have some degrees. You don't have to though, but even if you don't necessarily have degrees, I'm getting the vibe that you could speak multiple languages, or you could be somebody who's well traveled, or if you don't necessarily do those things, you could be somebody who, even though you like to be social, you like to have your alone time, you could be somebody who's very good at socializing. And so maybe you've had conversations with lots of different people over your lifetime and have learned a lot from those different conversations. And so therefore, when people talk to you, immediately they can tell that you're smart. They can tell that you know a lot about stuff. Like people, I'm also getting that you could be well versed in like history, culture, sociology, things of that nature. Like things that the average person might not care to really learn or to get into, okay, but you do. And so when you speak to people and you have these conversations, it's giving me the vibe that even if I didn't list your exact thing that you like know the most about, there's this vibe to you that people speak to you, they can tell that you're referencing something. They can tell that you're referencing an experience that you had, or a story that you were told, or something that you studied and learned, right? You come across as very intelligent. Your intellect is what makes you enchanting. I feel like you might also attract people as well who are very intelligent themselves. I feel like the people who are the most attracted to you are other people who are intelligent. Because typically, there's no shade, but typically stupid people, they don't like smart people. People who are, you know, refuse to learn, refuse to grow, refuse to evolve, if the fools of the world, they don't actually like being around actually smart people, because then they get reminded that they're not actually smart. They just might know how to communicate, or they might just be confident and can, you know, pretend. But, you know, so I feel like the people who are the most attracted to you are people who are smart, people who are like you, people who are highly educated, or who are well traveled or well cultured, the people who also like to have these interesting conversations. And that's what I was saying in the beginning, is connecting now, that, you know, like I said, people think that you're interesting. People just look at you and assume that you're interesting, and they want to talk to you. So you might attract like again, people who are just very cultured, and they enjoy learning from others, and they enjoy learning from conversation. Okay, I'm also getting the vibe that you look well put together. You look like somebody who takes good care of themselves, somebody who is organized. So you could be one of those people who never goes out of the house in pajamas, or in like your headscarf or a bonnet or something. Like, you know, there's lots of debates about that, and you know, people have their different opinions, but you might just be somebody who is like, you know, I just prefer to put myself together when I leave the house. I don't like to go outside in my pajamas. I don't like to go outside with my headscarf on, or, you know, whatever. You could also be somebody who's very good at putting your outfits together. So you could have an interest in fashion. I wouldn't be shocked if you had an interest in fashion, if you're somebody who understands like how clothing is made, or like you understand the materials and like composition of clothing. And so therefore you just have this natural ability to like put together nice outfits. Okay, I also wouldn't be surprised if I think people are also enchanted by your manners and your etiquette. You could be somebody who has actually taken etiquette classes, or you could be like raised in a culture that heavily prioritizes manners. Okay, like Southern Belle could be an example. Like manners and hospitality is like really big here in the South. So it could be something like that, where you just come from a culture where like everybody in your family just was taught to have certain manners or etiquette. Because there's this vibe that you come across very polite. You come across like people look at you and you look organized, you look well put together. And then once you start speaking, you speak and they can tell that you're polite. They can tell that you're intelligent. Okay, that's definitely what's coming across here. And I'm also getting that for some of you, this can make you interesting because of, unfortunately, racial stereotypes. So especially for those of you who are Black or colored, or, you know, of color, or, you know, maybe even if you're not necessarily like a different race than what people would naturally associate with those things, even if it's the fact that maybe where you come from, and people might stereotype you based off of where you come from, like the accent that you have, or the part of town that you come from, or it could be your social status as well, like your financial status. Like maybe you come from a poor family, but again, you still are very smart, you're still very polite, you're still very educated and intelligent. People don't usually associate those things with people who come from low income backgrounds. So there's this vibe here that for some of you, that adds to the enchantment even more, because to certain people you come across as an exception or something that's rare. And now granted, this is rooted in their own biases. This is rooted in their own prejudices. I'm not saying that that's a good thing, but I'm just saying that in terms of what makes you enchanting to people, that could be something that, you know, that's just what it is. Like maybe they haven't seen people who look like you or who come from where you come from, or the situation that you come from. They're not used to seeing those people in the position that you are, or behaving in the way that you do. Okay, so that's what I have for you from the images. All right, so let's go ahead and look into the tarot. All right, if you all are enjoying this reading so far, definitely make sure to give the video a thumbs up. Okay, and consider subscribing to the channel so that you can join the team and catch this vibe. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Spirit, what makes Pile 2 enchanting? What makes Pile 2 enchanting? I definitely get the vibe that people really love to talk to you. Like, I just feel like if you guys are not already married, I feel like you're definitely going to marry somebody who's really smart. And if you are married, I feel like your spouse is probably really smart. And like, if you were to go ask them like what initially drew them to you, or made them know that you were the one or something, they probably will mention your mannerisms, the way that you speak, your intellect, the conversations that you guys have, things like that. Okay, because I just heavily get that vibe that smart people are really attracted to you. Like, I feel like that's who you enchant the most, like, is smart people. Okay, I'm also getting the vibe that another reason why smart people are very enchanted by you is because you come across rare. That's what I was getting. Like, you come across to be rare, like regardless of what exactly that is, whether it's, again, like it might be a racial thing or a financial thing or a location thing, whatever. Even if it's just the fact that you're a woman, you know, people oftentimes think women are stupid. I don't know why the fuck they think that, but you know, people often do think that. So maybe I feel like what makes you enchanting as well is that you have this like rare gem energy to you, where the people who are the most drawn to you are people who are, they might see themselves as like above the rest of the world, or like smarter than the rest of the world, or above average. And I feel like these are people who feel like they're always the smartest one in the room, or they might always be like the richest one in the room, or they might be the most well-traveled in the room, or the most cultured in the room, or they just often feel like there's not many people that can understand them, or that can keep up with them, or that are maybe as ambitious as them, whatever the case may be. And they feel like with you, it's like this energy of like, finally, like, oh my God, like here, especially if you're in like a small town, or like some type of like niche subgroup where that's just not the norm. You probably are not the norm, you know? And this is one of those things where it's like, don't get offended, y'all. I'm just trying to read the energy. I'm trying to get you to understand why you're enchanting, okay? Stereotypes exist for a reason, okay? Are all the stereotypes true, and do they apply to everybody of said groups? No, they don't. But typically stereotypes do exist for a reason, and there are people of that group who are going to fit the stereotype. The people who I feel like you enchant the most are people who are surrounded by people who fit stereotypes. So that's what makes it so rare. For some of them, it's just that they are just prejudiced and biased, but some of them it's the fact that they genuinely, literally are like surrounded by people who fit stereotypes. So when you come around and you don't fit the stereotype, it genuinely is a rare occurrence for them. They're not making it up because they just are prejudiced or because they just assume that people are this and that way. People actually are that around them. And so when you come along, it's like, oh my God, like, who is this person? Who is this person? It's kind of giving me the vibe of like the Cinderella story, where like the prince, he's a prince, so he's used to groupies and like the other high status women who just, you know, they're so arrogant and confident, think their shit doesn't stink, and they just, you know, are entitled to everything. So that's part of the reason why when he met Cinderella, he fell for her, because she was literally rare for the environment. She was not a noble. She was not of, well, she technically was, but she wasn't treated in that way, and so therefore she didn't act like that. She came across very down to earth and sweet and humble, and he thought that was rare because of the people that he was actually surrounded with. So that's what it is. And that could be something for you as well. Maybe you are surrounded by people who are very smart and cultured and who have money, but maybe you don't come from that, and so therefore you naturally come across as more down to earth than the rest of them. And that could be something that makes you stand out as well. I wouldn't be surprised if this group, I'm not trying to sit here and say everybody's gonna marry rich, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of you come from a low income background, but you are very well studied, or you're well cultured, or whatever, you're really smart, and you have higher ambitions to like take yourself out of the hood essentially, or like to access higher levels of life where you just have access to more education, more culture, more travel, more money, more art. Maybe you're into art. I wouldn't be surprised if you eventually do run across somebody who comes from that lifestyle, who literally is sick of the people in it, and they like the fact that you don't come from that lifestyle. They like the fact that you're smart enough to have gotten there on your own, but that is not where you come from, because it naturally gives you this sense of rarity or specialness than the people that they are used to. Okay, I've run on that a lot, but I really, really wanted to emphasize that. Like, that was very I just feel like that's a huge part of your enchantingness. It's like you're so smart, I just feel like you're so intelligent, but you also are very polite. Like I said, you're very polite, you're very well mannered. People look at you and wouldn't be surprised if you were to be a bitch, if you were to be arrogant, but you're not. And I feel like that also is something that makes you enchanting, you know? So let's go ahead and see. Here, what makes pile 2 enchanting? The first card that we have is Justice, okay? Justice, that Libra energy, balanced energy, okay? Very beautiful, but also very intellectual. Libra is ruled by Venus, but it's also an air sign. So, you know, there's that duality of like, you're very pretty, but you're really smart too. And like, you do like nicer things, but you're not the type to just immediately think you're above other people, you know? Let's see. We have the 3 of Swords. Okay. We also have the Moon. Okay, this is that Cancer energy. We have the 7 of Swords. And then lastly, we have the 2 of Pentacles. This card came out as well, the King of Cups. On the bottom of the deck, we have the 10 of Swords. I feel like what also makes you enchanting, pile 2, is your story. You have this, like, I feel like pile 2, this is, I feel like you've been through a lot of trauma. I do. I feel like one of the reasons why you are so to yourself is because you have went through a lot of trauma with people taking advantage of you, people betraying you, people wanting to make you into their sidekick or their I don't know, puppet, or somebody that they can just use and take control of. I feel like you've been through a lot. I feel like you've been through a lot of pain, a lot of deceit, heartbreak, and things like that. And that might be part of the reason why you're so to yourself. And again, I don't mean for it to sound wrong or dismissive, but people find that to be interesting. People really find that to be interesting. And what I'm especially getting that they find to be interesting about it is the fact that you're still polite. Like, the fact that you are polite is like very enchanting, especially once people get to learn what you've been through. So this could be one of those things where people think that you're not going to be polite because you're very, like I said, you look very well put together. You seem smart. So they like, oh, people who are smart and good looking could be rude because they could think that they're better than other people. And they realize, oh no, this person is actually still very polite to me. Cool. That's really enchanting. Then you have the once we get deeper and once people actually get to know you and once you start to tell them about your story, or maybe they meet people around you, like especially some of you guys could have had a toxic family. And so I'm getting that this is like this is specifically like your friends, like your actual friends, or like the people that you date. As they get closer to you and they meet your family, they could start to see those people and see how they treat you or see how they act and realize that you might be very different from your family, and you might have a lot of trauma because of your family and because of the things that you guys have been through. And that makes them fall in love with you and be enchanted by you even more, because they realize, damn, if my family was like that, or if I had that kind of relationship with my family, I'll be bitter. I would have said, fuck them. I would have been out here terrorizing the world with my pain. Okay, I would have been definitely hurt people. But people are enchanted by the fact that you're able to alchemize that, and the fact that you don't, it's like this, it's almost this energy that you don't take things personally. And maybe you did in the past. Maybe you learned to stop taking things personally because you realized that the way that people act and they behave says more about them than it does you. And maybe you also used to be angry. Maybe you had a phase where you were bitter, you were angry, and you were resentful, and you realized, you know what? I'm not going to allow my pain to determine who I am. I'm not going to allow my pain to make me into the same person that hurt me. I'm not going to allow my pain to cause me to be, too suspicious or mistrustful of people, or, to project my pain onto people who never did anything to me. Okay. And so that's where like the enchanting just intensifies, because not only are you like book smart and you're cultured and maybe you speak different languages, or maybe you're really into like arts and things like that, but you're also very emotionally intelligent. You understand how to transmute pain. You understand how to get through hard times. You have been through things, and that is like, that whole combination just makes you so enchanting to people. Okay. People feel like you have also juggled a lot. You could be very hardworking as well. And maybe you have this very, I feel like you have this laid back energy to you, where you don't seem as to be somebody who takes things too seriously. Like you could like be the kind of person who you just seem to like kind of coast through life. But as people get to know you, as they get closer to you, they realize that you're actually very hardworking. You might take on multiple projects at a time. You might have been somebody who was working multiple jobs at once. Maybe you're in school and working, or maybe you just take on lots of projects, and maybe you actually are busy, and there's a lot that you do. There's a lot that you take on, but you make it look so good. You make it look so smooth. You make it flow so well that people assume that you don't really do anything. People, if you're a woman, especially, people could assume, like, if you're a woman and you're out in public, especially if you're out in public at like the normal 9 to 5 hours, people could assume that you're put up. People could assume that you have like a man who just pays for everything for you, but they find out that you're actually very ambitious and you might be a career woman, you might be career oriented, and it's like, oh, and it's like, it's shocking to people, just because, like I said, like the manners that you have, the politeness, the softness, the you have this like how do I say, like I said, like a calm energy. Like you don't, some people who are very career oriented and who are very ambitious, they come across anxious. They come across like they're always busy, like they're always rushing, and like they're never grounded. You come across very grounded, very calm. So when people realize that you maybe do have a career that you really care about, or like I said, you do have a lot on your plate, they're like shocked. But then it just makes them more enchanted by you, because they're like, how does this person make it look so easy? Like, you're definitely somebody who makes your life look easy. And also that's where like people could also assume that you haven't been through anything too, because you just make life look so easy. You seem to overcome your struggles. You don't seem to become bitter or jaded, and you almost appear perfect. It's like people get enchanted by you because you almost literally appear perfect. But then it's like, as they get to know you, they realize that you're far from perfect and you're very human. But the fact that you are so human and you've been through so much and you have these feelings and you might be taking on a lot and you might have a lot of responsibilities, and you still appear so poised and calm and balanced and polite, that makes them just feel like this person is literally perfect. They're not perfect, but they are. They're so rare. They're so special. People really feel like you're rare and special, Pau, like they really do. Like, people feel like you're like the kind of person that they only meet once in a lifetime, or that you're like literally the kind of person out of a fairy tale or like a storybook. And people can become very intrigued by you, like seriously. Okay, now I will say with this Pau, I do get the vibes that it's important for you to be able to discern between who's just intrigued by you and who genuinely values you about this. Because some people, I feel like a lot of people are intrigued by you. A lot of people find you to be very interesting. They like to have conversation with you. They want to get close to you. They want to be your friend. They want to be your lover, but they don't really have anything to offer you. They just find you to be interesting. And so they just want to be around you just because they think you're interesting. But it's important for you to also make sure that your needs are being met in relationships and friendships as well, and not and to make sure that you're not just there for the other person's entertainment, or that you're not just there for them to have like a trophy on their arm, because people do see you as a trophy for sure. I would not be surprised if people tried to trophy you before you realized that people were only nice to you when they were in front of other people, but they were like mean to you behind closed doors, or you know, like people, again, they just kind of wanted you for the optics or to entertain them or to be in proximity to you, but they didn't really care about you for real. Like people can tend to have the I feel like people have the tendency to objectify you, but not just beyond your body, but for who you are, literally, like because you are literally special. Like you're the kind of person who, again, you're just intriguing. Like you're like a party trick almost. Like you might find that people sometimes, again, they want to invite you around their friends, they want to bring you around their family so that it can make them look good, but they don't actually plan on investing back into you or meeting your needs or giving you the energy that you need in order to feel safe, because you're a person too, when you're not perfect. Like I said, you've been through a lot, and so actually you do have emotional needs, and you do need somebody who's going to be able to match you. They need to be able to match your level of emotional intelligence. They need to match your actual intelligence. They need to be able to match your politeness and your mannerisms. You don't want to be that really polite person, but then you get around somebody who is very rude to people, you know what I mean? Or you don't want to be that person who's very interested in arts and intellect, but then you have somebody who only cares about material things and vain things and shallowness. You don't want to be somebody who is who understands emotional intelligence, and you've been through a lot, and you know how to transmute pain and energy. You know how to be solution oriented. You're very ambitious, but you're not bitter. But then you don't, and then like, you know, your friends or your partner is somebody who is lazy or who dwells on problems, and they never want to find solutions. Okay, so just be careful, pal, too, about making sure that you're so polite that you can almost self-sacrifice. Okay, and it's not your job to do that. You know, those two things don't have to be mutually exclusive. You can be polite without sacrificing yourself or without negating or neglecting your own needs. It's not wrong of you to be picky about who you be friends with and who you partner with. Okay, you deserve a partner who is literally, you deserve partners and friends who are your match, who are equally yoked to you, whether that be financially, intellectually, emotional intelligence and understanding, optimism, whatever it is, politeness, you know, whatever. Okay, so that's what I had for you, pal, too. If you are from pal 2 and you made it to the end, go ahead and comment rare gem. I feel like I can't say that word today. Rare. I feel like I'm saying where, like what, but if you're about to comment rare gem, okay? Also go ahead and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing to the channel so that you can join the team and catch this vibe. If you would like me to dive into your personal situation, you can always book with me down below in the description box. Other than that, I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey, Pal 3, welcome to Naya's Notes. Welcome to your reading. My name's AniyahJelisa, obviously. Welcome. Okay, so today we're going to be going over what makes you enchanting, all right? If you guys would like to book a personal reading with me and have me tap into your personal situation, you can find that information down below. You can also find where you can tip me if you would like. Never needed, but always appreciated. You can also find the intro song and my social media down below in the description box as well. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight in. First, I will be channeling messages from the image that you chose, okay? So I feel like what makes you all enchanting, Pal 3, is that you can be flighty. You're either like flighty, or you can be the kind of person to like cancel plans, or like if people invite you out, you don't always say yes. I'm getting the vibe that when people invite you out, you don't often say yes, and even if you do say yes, you might have the tendency to cancel. And as much as that's a bad thing, what it does is it creates this scarcity around your energy. So essentially, people are enchanted by you when you're around because you're not around often. Or this could also be a thing where if people are not necessarily inviting you out and you're flaking or not saying yes, it's just this vibe that you don't come around that much. People might feel like you don't come around that much, or they don't see you that much. So for example, what I mean by this is like excuse me, you could have coworkers who are like a family, and they always hang out with each other. They always go to the bar after work. They always hang out after work, or they're like friends in real life, and they hang out at each other's houses, or they go on vacation together, whatever the fuck. Like they just spend time together outside of work. And you might be that one coworker who doesn't hang out with the group. And it could even be a thing where there's like a clique or a group of people. If this is not like work related specifically, this could just be in your life. There's like groups of people or cliques that run together where most people around them want to be in with the clique, or they want to be a part of this set group, but those people don't like those people. And so it's like, for you, what makes you more enchanting, because the same group that other people might be like desperate to get into, or who they'll kiss these people's butt to get into, they want you to be a part of their clique, or they want you to be a part of their group, and you don't really seem to care. You know, you seem like you are in your own world, or you have your own, maybe you have a separate group of friends that you really like to hang out with, and you might be very charismatic, and so when you meet people, they want to be friends with you, and you know, you're friendly. So it's like, I mean, I'll have this conversation with you, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to want to go out and have lunch with you the next day, or that I'm going to want to actually invite you into my life. And you could just be somebody who, I feel like your energy is exclusive. Like, even in this picture, she's the only one who is like completely facing away from the camera here. Like in pile 1, like she's looking directly into the camera. Pile 2, she has like a side, like she's not looking at the camera, but it's still like a side profile. We can see most of her face. But in pile 3, it's like she's completely turned away, babe. Like completely not here right now. Like all you can see is just like, girl, her cheek and her eyelash. That's all you can see. And so you could be somebody who is just very much like not a part of the crowd. Like you just, and when I specifically mean not a part of the crowd that wants you there, like there's specifically like people who want you around who you're not around. I'm not saying that you're necessarily a loner, because I feel like you do have, maybe you have like a partner, like a romantic partner, maybe you have your own group of friends that you like to spend time with, but like this energy I'm more so getting is that you enchant the most people outside of that, people who don't get your energy. And even your friends, honestly, maybe your friends and your partner, like maybe you are somebody who just likes spending a lot of time by yourself, and you're not like a loner per se. You're not like you're not adverse to socializing, but you just do naturally might spend a lot of time on your own. And so I just get the vibe that your energy is exclusive, and that's what makes you enchanting. Your energy is seen as scarce, so people therefore, like, even subconsciously, it's not like they're purposely doing it, but they subconsciously value you more. They subconsciously value when you do say yes, when you do agree to hang out with them and spend time with them, or, you know, you're that person who, when you come to the party, everybody there is used to seeing each other, but they're not used to seeing you. They're not used to you coming to the party. So when you come to the party, everybody's like, oh my God, Power 3 just walked to Power 3's here. Like, and you almost get this like celebrity treatment because you don't come around much. This could also be your family. So maybe you guys could have moved away from your family. It doesn't have to be a big move. Like you could have just moved out of your hometown and moved to like a different part of your same state, or you could have actually moved across states or countries, and so you don't see your family that much due to like location. Or this could be a thing, or maybe you just outgrew your family in the sense that maybe their beliefs or the way that they live or their mindsets or something is not aligned with you. And since you are an adult now and you have your own freedom to like move and to decide if you want to speak to them or not, maybe you don't. And maybe it's not necessarily that you have any bad blood towards them, or that you have wanted to cut them off completely, but maybe you just kind of distance yourself, and so that distance is felt. And so therefore when you come around, you, again, it's like people, I get the vibe, people almost treat you like a celebrity, or they like put you on the pedestal, or they want to roll out the best of the best for you, or they want to really make sure that you enjoy your time when you're there, because they almost want to, it's like they're subconsciously trying to make sure that you have a good experience, so that you want to come back, so that it's not so long until they see you again, you know? People are also intrigued by you and enchanted by you because you come across mysterious. Because of the fact that you're not often there, I feel like people always feel like they're catching up with you. Like there's this vibe of them always being intrigued to know like what's going on in your life and how you've been, and not from a place of like trying to just get information to gossip, but like genuinely being curious and genuinely being interested, because it might have literally been a long time since the last time that they saw you or spoke to you, okay? I'm also getting the vibe with your energy pile 3 that what makes you enchanting is that people feel like you're going to become famous, or they feel like you they feel like you're a very high potential individual. They not only do they feel like you're high potential, they feel like you're acting on it. They feel like maybe you went through seasons in your life where you were more insecure, or you were lacking certain resources, and so maybe you didn't have the opportunities to really pursue your potential in the highest way. But I feel like people see you as somebody who's going to become very well known and very successful in your specific industry or career. Okay, it could be career thing. It could also be like just known for, you could be known for your beauty as well. Like maybe people feel like you would make a good model, or that you will attract like a lot of suitors, a lot of rich suitors or something like that because of your looks. But I feel like people see you as somebody who's going to go far in life. They see you as somebody who's going to surpass them in life, especially. Okay, especially if these are people who like maybe you guys work at the same job together currently. They feel like, you know, they might still be at that job 10 years from now, but they feel like you're not. They feel like you will definitely outgrow that job. These could be your family members or people from your childhood, like for childhood friends, feeling like, you know, you and your family are maybe just regular people, and, you know, you and childhood friends are just regular people, but they feel like one day you're going to become famous, or you're going to become rich. Like, you're going to become, in some ways, like, you're going to out success them, or you're going to become more successful than them. And you know, because the topic here is what makes you enchanting, I'm not getting the vibe that this is like even like normally when that gets brought up, it's like followed up with like jealousy or envy. But in your case, pile 3, I don't really get the vibe that people are jealous or envious. I actually feel like the people, at least in question here, who are enchanted by you, they find it to be inspiring. I feel like people also, that's why they like when you come around, because I feel like your perspective on life is different than the average person. Because I feel like you are somebody, pile 3, who's very resilient. I feel like you might have been through a lot, and you still manage to like pick yourself up. I feel like you have that you have this like grit or tenacity about you, where even in your lowest moments, you somehow are able to still convince yourself that you can have more, or still convince yourself that life goes on, or at the very least that you can get up and try again. You have definitely this like optimism about you that I feel like the average person in your life doesn't have. Like, that's why I said you might have like a small friend group or like your romantic partner, but I feel like for the most part you just feel maybe different than other people, in the sense that I feel like you believe in yourself more than the average person. Again, I'm not saying that you never have insecurities, or that you never have anxiety, that you never feel imposter syndrome, but you are somebody who at the very least knows how to overcome it. You're somebody who might feel insecure, but then you're still going to audition anyway, or you might procrastinate, but you're still going to get it done at the end of the day anyways. You might feel anxious, but you're still going to learn a grounding practice or learn a mindfulness practice to tackle your anxiety. You're not the kind of person to just allow your circumstances or your feelings or the lack of resources or whatever it may be to hold you back in life. You're somebody who I feel like really values life itself and the time especially that you have in life. You guys could have prominent Capricorn or Aquarius placements in your chart, because I feel like there's an emphasis here. Also Libra, because Libra is exalted in Saturn, or Saturn is exalted in Libra. I'm getting the vibe here that you all are you have this knack for time. Like, I feel like you really value your life. Like, I feel like you're a very grateful person, and you really value your life and the time that you have. You could have experienced death at an early age, so somebody close to you could have died when you were young, or you could have experienced people around you dying at young ages. And even if that's not the case, you still, I just feel like you have this mindset where you really value time, and I feel like you're somebody who doesn't want to have regrets about what you didn't do or what you didn't pursue, or how you might have held yourself back. So because of that, I feel like other people might see you as somebody who's highly confident, and I think you are, but I think that a lot of your confidence is not even really confidence, it's more so courage. I feel like you don't always feel confident when you do something, but you are courageous, you're brave, because I feel like you have this fear of wasting your time, or you have a fear of never reaching your potential, or just letting your potential go to waste. I feel like you're somebody who just doesn't like to be wasteful in life, okay? I feel like you do not like to waste your energy, you don't like to waste your time, you don't like to waste your potential. And so therefore you could be somebody who's very you could be busy, or you could have like great time management skills, and maybe that's why you don't come around that much, because you're always working, or you're always trying to improve yourself or improve your life or put effort into your endeavors. And so the reason why you may not say yes to everything is because you might feel like you have things that are more important. You could be somebody who is big on prioritizing things, and you know, you might feel like going out to hang out with certain people is not on your priority list, especially if you don't feel like those people are ambitious. I feel like you're a very ambitious person, but I feel like it's a quiet thing. Like, I feel like you're not necessarily the type to outwardly like always be like, yeah, I'm on the grind, and like you don't necessarily like post grind quotes 24/7 and like have that personality of somebody who like clearly capitalism has consumed them and all they care about is money. It's not that for you. It's more so literally like, I know that I have this potential, I know that I'm good at things, I know that I have something of value to add to the world, and I want to use my lifetime to do that. You could be somebody who also is big into legacy, and you might feel like, you know, when I die, I want to leave behind a legacy. I want to be, okay, my phone died, but I was saying that you could be somebody who has the mindset of like, you want to be remembered for something. You want people, you could literally want your name to go down in history, but I feel like even if you feel like it's not like this grand, like you don't become this grand like world known individual, you want to be just remembered for what you did or what you contributed. You could also, I'm also getting this too, that you could also be very particular about who you hang out with because you value your reputation, in the sense that you also want to be remembered as a specific type of person, or you want to be remembered for positive things in general, rather than like you know, some people pass and it's like, you know, you ask about them and it's like, oh yeah, they were just a drunk who didn't take life seriously at all, and they fucking had 12 kids with 13 different women, and you know what I'm saying, like, and it's like, oh what a reputation to leave behind. You know, you're the kind of person where you might want to, you know, be very strategic about how you also, I said Capricorn and Aquarius, I'm also getting definitely Taurus and Virgos here as well. You don't have to have those places, but it's coming through to me. But you could just be somebody who's very particular and like, you know, I don't want to be seen in certain spaces, or I don't want to, you know, fall into certain addictions, or, you know, something might be trendy and popular, but I don't think that fits my brand, or I don't think that fits my reputation, so I'm not going to participate in that. Or, you know, I am hardworking because I want to be remembered and be somebody who contributed to the world. I don't want people to, after I die, to ask about me and there's nothing good to say. You know, this could also show up in your character, in the way that you treat people, and maybe that is part of your enchantment as well, is that despite you having this seriousness about you, and despite you having this exclusivity and almost celebrity like energy, I do feel like you're a kind person, and I feel like you have a lot of morals and a lot of character, and you know, you try not to exert yourself over other people, or especially when it's unnecessary. I feel like, you know, if somebody sends for you, then you'll come for them. But I feel like in general, you know, you're not a bully. You like to actually be, you want to be kind, you want to be a good person genuinely, and that's something that is enchanting about you. Because again, I feel like you guys might have been drawn to Pal too. Okay, I thought that low-key was so odd, but yeah, you have this vibe of where, you know, certain people feel like if they were in your position, they would be popping their shit, and a lot of people's idea of popping their shit is just being arrogant and cocky and mean to people, and like stepping down on people. And people feel like if they were in your position, they would do that, but you feel this way of like, you know, I don't have to do that. Like, I am me, so I don't need to pop my shit. Me existing is popping my shit. I pop my shit by existing. I don't have to look down on people. I don't have to be mean to people. I don't have to bully people. I don't have to, you know, participate in social hierarchy and, you know, act like I'm better than the next person, or as if I have more authority than the next person, because I am me. You really know your value, Power 3. You really know your value, and it shows in the way that you behave. And so that's what makes you enchanting. People feel like there's a value, like people, you feel like you have a VIP energy to you. Like, yeah, you just live your life with this energy, and people treat you that way as well. You might notice that sometimes people that are rude to other people are nice to you, or, you know, at the club, you might get in for free, not even because you know somebody, but because they just like the way that you look, or they just feel like, you know, this is somebody who I want to be in the space. Or you might notice that sometimes you go out to the bar and the bartender just gives you a free drink because, I don't know, maybe everybody else at the bar has been rude to them all night, and you were very polite and you were a good customer, and you're like, you know what, I like this person, I'm gonna just, next round's on me. You know, like, you might just get that type of energy. Or you might also get the energy where, like I said, sometimes people are rude to others but they're nice to you, or people are maybe just nonchalant towards other people, but you get them to be chalant because, like, people just really see your value. Okay, so let's see, we're gonna pull into the tarot. This was long for you guys. I channel a lot from the image in Inspire, but if you're enjoying so far, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up, and we're gonna tap into your tarot. All right, so let's see, Spirit, what makes Pile 3 enchanting? Also, consider subscribing to the channel so that you can join the team and catch these vibes. All right, Spirit, what makes Pile 3 enchanting? Let's see, what makes Pile 3 enchanting? All right, so the first card that we have is the 5 of Cups. Next, we have the Hanged One, the Hanged Man. Okay. I feel like people wait on you a lot. We have the 3 of Wands. I'm not taking reversals in this reading today. I just don't feel like that's the vibes. 3 of Wands. Ooh. Okay. Then we have the 5 of Pentacles. Wow. 5 of Pentacles and the Tower. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Cups. And this Knight of Cups looks kind of sad. And then underneath that, we have Death. Okay. With you, Pile 3, I feel like what makes you enchanting is that people literally yearn for you. People yearn for you. I get the vibes that you leave a lot of people sad. You leave a lot of people hurt. People take it they try not to. I'm getting the vibes that like they try not to. People try to understand that, you know, you're just busy, you're very goal oriented, you have things that you prioritize, but deep down, and some people might tell you this, some people might tell you that they miss you, or they tell you that it makes them feel the type of way when you don't answer their calls or when you don't hang out with them. Some people don't do that because they might be more prideful and they don't want you to know that they care that much. But I get the vibes that people really do miss you, pile 3. People really miss you when you're not around. They really yearn for your energy and long for your energy, especially if people have fumbled with you. Like if you have been in somebody's life and seen them as a friend, or like your exes, people who you were in romantic partnerships with, people know that you are valuable. People know that you're a very important person. People know that you are bound to be successful. People feel like you're bound to be successful. Like you might feel this way as well about yourself, which I hope that you do. But even again, in your moments of insecurity or your moments of self-doubt or anxiety where you feel unsure, other people look at you and they know for a fact, in their mind, they just feel like they know for a fact that you are going to be successful. They know that you're going to become famous, or that you're going to become rich, or that you're going to become well known in your community, or that you're going to greatly contribute to society. They know that not only that on like a successful or an outer level, but they feel like even in your interpersonal relationships, like I said, you're somebody who has a strong sense of character and a strong morality to you. Okay, you are somebody who is kind. You're somebody who is genuine. You're not always nice. Okay, I definitely get the vibes that you are not afraid of confrontation and that you are a truth speaker, and truth speakers, sometimes the truth is not pretty, right? But I get the vibe that you are genuinely genuine. You're authentic, you're kind. You have no desire to manipulate and play games and bully people. You know, you're not that person. You know what I mean? You know yourself and you're focused on yourself and the growth and the elevation of your journey of life. And so when people hurt you, about 3, when people hurt you, or at the very least, when they know that you are not prioritizing them, oh my God, do they feel hurt. But it's like, surprisingly enough, that same pain that they feel is what just enchants them to you even more. Because the fact that I'm getting that a lot of these people don't tend to care. Like a lot of you might find that like maybe the people that you tend to be friends with, or that you get into relationships with, or even your family members, they could be people who don't really tend to care about other people's opinions, or they don't care about being in everybody's face, or they don't care about having a roster, or they don't care about that. Like these could be people who are typically very self-sufficient and like, not that they're necessarily loners, but like again, they just are not necessarily the kind of people who tend to care about everybody's opinion, or care about like if something doesn't work out. That's what I mean. Like these could be people who are easily able to detach most of the time. I'm getting the vibes heavily that like you make nonchalant people chalant, okay? And like you might be like, these might be people who, you know, they go through a breakup, they don't really care, they'll have a new partner shortly thereafter, they don't care. Or, you know, they go through a friendship breakup, they don't really care, they're good by themselves, or they'll just find another friend. But with you, it's like they feel your absence. They genuinely feel your absence because you are, again, you're not like the average person. Your character is not like the average person, especially in these days and age of like, you know, Shira 7 floating around. And I'm not saying anything against her, but that I'm just using her to make an example of that in mentality, that like very manipulative, I'm going to play this game to get what I want type of mentality. Red pill podcasters, just dating coaches in general. Like a lot of people these, even like the people who are teaching you to have social skills, a lot of those social skills are not social skills. They're just teaching you how to be manipulative, or like sales tactics, you know, things like that. Like especially in this age of that type of energy being very prevalent in the collective, you being somebody who genuinely is so authentic and so real to yourself that you don't be out here doing that, even though you probably could, people, oh my God, do they feel your absence. And it's like I feel like people want you to wait around for them. They want you to, people feel like that you don't prioritize them when they're not on your level, okay? So actually, those of you who felt drawn to pile 2 and pile 3, you might resonate with both, but you might feel like, I feel like this is like an elevated energy from pile 2 almost, because it's giving me the same vibes, but just a more mature, like somebody who is settled into the energy, as opposed to somebody who is kind of like just realized that they have this power. That's kind of like, so yeah. If you watch pile 2 first and then pile 3, I feel like you have definitely matured into your value and into your power, into knowing who you are. If you're watching this and you didn't feel drawn to pile 2, then you have clearly matured out of that energy. If you watch this one and then go back and watch pile 2, I feel like you could resonate with it in terms of like some of your past, or like just when you were younger or more innocent or naive, okay? Anyways, there's this vibe here that people, you inspire, like this pain, people are inspired to become better so that they can come back and approach you. People are inspired to be better so that they can have access to your life. And sometimes I do feel like people resent you for this. Sometimes I feel like people resent you because you're so, I feel like you're also very stubborn, Power 3, and I feel like you do not, like, you don't bend. Like, you don't negotiate your standards. You don't soften your boundaries for people. You don't get distracted from your goals. Like, I feel like you're very much, it's giving me Queen of Swords type of vibes where, you know, you're very much, you're going your direction. Anything that seeks to distract from that or halt it or get in the way of that, you will remove, including people. And so people end up feeling really just down after being removed because there's like this energy of like pain from the absence that you hold, like your absence. But there's also this like self-reflection that they're forced to do. I guess definitely get that with the Tower and the Death card, because you're the kind of person where you cut people off for a reason. You're not the kind of person who's cutting people off because you're trying to play a game and you just want them to come chase you. If you block somebody, it's because you genuinely do not want to ever speak to them again. If you're not the kind of person who breaks up with your partner because you just want to have a little fun, you just want to create chaos because you think it's fun. No, if you break up with somebody, it's because you have sat there and analyzed and built up a case, okay, and literally built up a list of pros and cons and decided that this person is more of a hindrance than they are of help, and you mean it. Like, you also might be the kind of person who doesn't spin the block. And even if you do give people chances and you might spin the block, it's only going to be so many opportunities. You're only going to spin once or twice. I'm not going to keep giving you the same opportunity to fix the same problem. You know what I mean? Like, even if you are compassionate, you're like, okay, you know what? I have a soft spot for you. We can try again. You still only get, you had the first time, and you might have 2, you might have 3 at best if Power 3 really likes you. But even if Power 3 really likes you, after that 3rd strike, you're out. That's just what it is. And so people are enchanted by you because they have you end up putting people in this energy where they end up self-reflecting, and they're like, you know what? They probably really don't like you at first, but then when they sit and think about it, they realize, you know what? I was wrong. I did not value Power 3, or I know that Power 3 is valuable, but I tried to get them to stoop down to a lower level for my comfort, or so that I could feel a certain way, so that I could feel equal to them. Or maybe I wanted to act as if I was equal to Power 3, but I'm not. I'm nowhere near as ambitious as them. Or maybe I don't love myself as much as they do. Maybe I'm not as emotionally intelligent as they are. Maybe I'm not as good of a person as they are. And, you know, your absence, when you leave people, it forces them to face that. It forces them to face it. And then it's like you become a goal for them. You become a goal for them to gain your forgiveness and to gain your favor again. People feel like you also like cast this light with your energy, where it's like when they're on your good side, they experience blessings, they experience positivity. Not only do they get to experience your energy, but they also get access to your energy in the sense that they get access to your same motivation, they get access to your optimism, they get access to your friend group, they get access to spaces that you invite them to that they wouldn't have access to without you. It's literally damn near like being friends with or dating a celebrity. If I'm famous, I have a certain access to a certain lifestyle that somebody who's not famous is not going to have. And, you know, sometimes people get around famous people and they act too clout chasey and they get too clingy. And it's like, okay, you got to move because of that. Sometimes people get around famous people and they want to purposely ignore them or purposely humble them so that they can try to, you know, act like they're a celebrity too. You know, it's like, get out of here with that. Like, just be normal. Like, you know, so I feel like people end up fumbling about with you. Or this could be a thing as well. You might be one of those people who find your success or find that you receive most of your recognition for your value later in life. And so when you're just a normal person, okay, especially if you are somebody who has a rags to riches type of story where you start out low income or you start out facing all these different obstacles and you have to grow into that and build into that celebrity-like energy, you know, you might have experienced people, you know, treating you like shit. When they thought that you were just a normal person, or they thought that you were broke, or they thought you weren't going to go anywhere, or they thought that you were just talking about what you were going to do. Maybe you didn't do it because maybe they found you in like a depressive or an insecure season in your life, and then you boss up, you mature into who you are, and you blossom, and now it's like, damn, I want to come back into Power 3's life, or I wish Power 3 prioritized me, or I wish I never treated them like that because of who they are now. When in reality, you always were the same person. okay? And I feel like you do have some people around you, whether it's friends or family, who always saw your potential and who always spoke life into you, and you really, really value those people because you've also experienced people who try to shit on you when you were already down, you know? And the thing about you, Power 3, is I feel like you're also very loyal, and you also see people for who they are, and I feel like you treat people according to how they treat you, or according to how they treat other people. And yeah, like, people are really enchanted by you, Power 3, because of who you are, your heart, your character, your ambition. Part of it on the surface level is that you have this like exclusive type of energy, this celebrity like energy, but deeper than that, people know that you are genuinely a good person. And so because I'm getting the vibes that some of the people that are the most enchanted by you are people who you don't even speak to anymore. I'm really getting that for this pile. Like, people who are in your life are enchanted by you, but I'm telling you, the people who you have cut off or who no longer have access to you, or at the very least, who maybe you do speak to them, but again, it's like distant, or they're like low on your priority list, boy, they're so enchanted by you. They really wish that they could even just have a conversation with you. They wish that they could go back to how things were, or they wish that they could have a do-over. Oh my God, I really get the vibe that a lot of people wish they could have a do-over, or that they could meet you again knowing what they know about you now, because they will treat you completely differently, for sure, okay? But I feel like you also could be somebody, especially if you have prominent Saturn in your chart, that you were meant to have that kind of lifestyle on purpose, because it was meant to show you who's real and who's not, and it was also meant to help you to develop a strong sense of discernment, okay? Because I feel like with the Knight of Cups here, you attract a lot of people. You always have. But did they always have your best intentions? No. Were these always people who were equally yoked with you? No. And now you've been through enough pain. You've been through enough to have that sense of discernment and to know how to pick them, basically. You know how to pick your friends and your family, your family, your partners wisely, okay? And all of that then makes you somebody who's exclusive. You are exclusive over yourself, okay? And that's what makes you enchanting, Power 3. I think Power 3, no shade to other Powers, I think this was the most interesting Power. I think this is probably the longest video. This is probably the longest one. So yeah, Power 3, you're extremely enchanting, okay? And what makes you enchanting is, again, your authenticity, your ambition, your character, okay? So what are we gonna say for Power 3? There's so much I could say. I don't know how to choose one word for you guys, but if you made it to the end of Power 3, just comment authentic, because we'll just let that encapsulate it all, okay? Power 3, you are all very, very authentic, okay? And that's something that is really, really enchanting about you. Excuse me. So if you made it to the end, go ahead and leave a comment saying enchanting. Go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Also consider subscribing to the channel so that you can join the team and catch this vibe. Other than that, I love you guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.